try to accomplish. And let's jump into it here. Let's start today's meeting of April 14th, 2021, 8:30. Welcome to the Connecticut Appraisal Commission monthly meeting. We have a few things to go over here. But first of all, there was a supplemental agenda sent, and with mostly additional courses. So we will get to that in just a moment. But all that being said, review of March meeting minutes, which were March 10th of 2021. Reviewing, are there any edits or corrections or changes that need to be brought to our attention? Hearing none, can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion by Linda.
Second.
A second by John. Ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstentions, so we're off and running. The second thing is, just to make sure we are legally up to snuff here, I would prefer to have a motion for the supplemental agenda to be officially in our meeting moments here. So could I get a motion for that, please?
I'll make a motion for the supplemental agenda to be added to the meeting.
Thank you, Linda. A second? John?
Second.
Or Norris, great. All right, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Well, why don't we just stay right into that, and let's get a lot of the schools and things. I know there was a tremendous amount of reviewing and what have you. So Linda, I'm gonna go to that. Let's start with, you had the schools and courses on the original agenda. There were 2 of them there. And then of course, there was a bucket load of the additional ones. So any comments, thoughts, or anything upon your review that you'd like to bring to our attention? Linda Sepso?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to the other Linda. The only thing, most of them were fine. I went through all of the ones that were additional. Some of them I was concerned about because there's one that's a new one for Connecticut, and it kept talking about New Jersey, but we discussed that a little bit earlier, Jer, that they were just examples and the.
Yeah, I was listening. Yeah.
So that's okay. But the rest of them, I didn't really see anything that I thought was going to be a problem at all. Trying to find the email that you sent me with. Well,
Okay.
but I mean, I did go through them all. There's a lot of them. I will tell you though, if we get these in any earlier, it would be a lot easier to go through them as they come in, as opposed to getting them all.
That was me who like spaced through doing them until the last minute, so.
Oh, because that was a lot to go through and check out. And the only other thing that I was concerned about was, we've been saying everything is Zoom, 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 Zoom meetings. And now there's a whole bunch of them that don't say anything. They don't say if they're going to do it as a Zoom meeting, they're going to do it in class, you know, so.
Well, what they do is they're approving them for in class, unless it says online, then they're in class. And so they're not getting approval for actual Zoom because the AQB says they can do them through the end of this year. And these are 3-year approvals. So what they will do is anything they're going to offer between, like next month, like I know McKissick is really good. They send it to me like a month ahead of time. They send me a whole list of their Zoom courses and the dates with the links. So, and the Appraisal Institute has been doing, they've all been doing that. They will just send me a list of what they're going to offer that month for Zoom.
Okay. So that was the only thing I was concerned about. There wasn't a definition of how they were presenting the class. And in the past year, we've had a very specific definition of how we're going to present the class. But I didn't see any classes that I thought were like, wait a minute.
All right. The only thing, 788, they put it in for 32 hours. So you guys will have to change that.
Okay.
So are we going to go back and talk about the seminar from the Appraisal Institute? Do we,
Let's do it now before we make a massive motion, John. Go ahead.
are we going to approve that contingent on Linda Sepso and Linda are reviewing the slides that are going to be changed?
We could do that.
Yeah, I don't have I mean, as long as I get it the day before or 2 days before, it's,
Is that
Yeah.
okay, Jackie?
Yeah, that's fine. I would prefer you to look at it in case you have any questions or, are unhappy with it. Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
And then the second thing is I submitted something for the 2-hour seminar for the tax assessors and self-storage. Does that get,
No, that's a separate entity, John.
all right,
That's a separate entity. Okay,
entity?
Uh,
Okay.
so it's, so noting, what was that, 788? Is that what it was?
Yeah. That's gone from 32 hours to, we have to make a motion to make it 30 hours.
And-
What we'll do is that we can make a motion that you'll accept all with the following provisions. Having 788 to 30 hours.
No, it's CE, so it's 18 hours.
Oh, excuse me, 18 hours. That's right. It's not pre-licensing, 18 hours. And the review by Linda and Linda of the Appraisal Institute class. And I think when we can then, we get a motion, a second, and we vote on it, and therefore then we'll come over to add John's supplemental class. Okay?
Okay, one other thing, Chair.
Yeah,
The one under schools and courses on the original agenda, mandatory salesperson broker course, that's not an actual application. That's just a discussion I need to have with you guys about it.
okay, so it excludes that.
Wait,
Okay,
can we back up to the 7888 again? What is the name of the class?
review case studies general.
And it's 4 days. Why is it CE?
Because that's what they applied for. There's probably a pre-licensing course that hasn't expired or something that's how they submitted it as CE.
That might be the review designation class.
It is, but see, it's like all those classes, you can take it for a pre-licensing class, and even though someone like me coming through
Right,
already has a license, may want it for CE. Hey, let me just bone up on something.
right. That's why it's a 4-day class. That's what I was getting at. I think it's the review designation class. So yeah, they wouldn't be using it for qualifying yet, I wouldn't think.
That's correct. Okay, can I get let's go. Can I get a motion?
So I make a motion that we accept the courses to be approved with the exception of 788 being 18 hours and the Appraisal Institute Land Valuation Tips and Trends being approved contingent on Linda Sepso reviewing the final PowerPoint presentation before the course seminar is presented.
Okay, can I get a second? Norris has a second. Comments and discussion?
Jerry, do I need to abstain from that?
No?
Okay.
Ayes,
Aye.
nays, abstentions. Hi, Shauna. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, Shauna.
All right, great. Now, keeping in the course world, John, you had a class you wanted to bring to the forefront here?
Yeah, I'm looking for, it's just a 2-hour seminar on appraising self-storage facilities to be presented to the Wyndham tax assessors, but I have a feeling there might be other tax assessor or other groups that might want me to put it on over the next year. It's just 2 hours for continuing education credits, and looking for approval contingent on Linda and Linda approving my PowerPoint presentation, which is not completed yet.
Okay,
All right, I see maybe, Jer, a slight issue. Because normally, if it's not an approved school submitting the course, we wait till it's done. And then we have to have the applicant submit the course for approval for equivalent ed, like we do with the New York City Appraisal Institute courses. So I just don't know, I just want to make sure we're consistent with how we do things.
Okay,
Normally we tell the people they have to take the course first, so
all right, then we could do the following. John, when would that be coming in?
Probably Monday.
Okay. I believe Vicky is not on here today. Is that correct?
Yes, she is. Good
Oh,
morning.
hi,
How are you?
Vicky. I don't get to see, your face here, so welcome. I believe, and Vicky, please come in on the legal side, and that is that we could do an electronic vote on that once it comes in. Is that correct? Even though you don't have to do for another meeting, or am I barking down the wrong tree or up the wrong tree?
Well, I think you can accept it contingent upon it's a review or whoever has to do the final review.
Okay. So we can go
Right,
through
Linda, is
that.
I think that would be,
All right, so if we got a motion now to accept it pending review by staff and Linda Sepso, we're gonna volunteer you again, okay, for that.
Okay,
Will that pass muster? Sean, are you okay? Norris, you okay with that?
I do have a question. I have a question. I mean, they didn't submit it through our normal system because there's $100 fee. Is that, doesn't all these classes have to be submitted through the portal? That would be a Linda Robitaille
well, that's
question.
what I was trying to say, that, normally a school has to submit a course for us to approve it prior to it being offered.
Right.
So what I was thinking is, once John teaches, I mean, Linda can look at it and say, yeah, we'll be able to give you credit like off the record, but once it's submitted, once it's taught, then the assessors who took it can submit a request for equivalent education of 2 hours. And, John could submit all their names at once and we can just do one blanket approval for anyone going forward who takes the course afterwards. But without it being a school submitting it, I don't know how we approve it ahead of time, because we
Okay.
tell other applicants, you got to take the course and then we'll look at it.
yeah, well, you have
I
to be
do like
consistent, as you said. Okay.
Excuse-
Yeah.
Quick question, Vicky, what's the legal recourse?
The only thing that would happen is that it wouldn't, if it doesn't get the approval, then nobody would get the credit. So that would be a problem down the line. I mean, I
The
think, as
problem would
Linda said,
be-
it has to be done.
Vicky? You were about to finish?
Yes. No, I just said it, I think I'm in line with what
Oh, I
Linda
thought
was
you were
saying,
about to
whatever
say
is the
something, Vic.
procedure. No, I'm just saying, whatever is the procedure normally is what the procedure should be in this
Yeah.
instance.
Okay. Shauna,
Yeah.
you had another comment? You were saying something?
Well, I think the problem is going to be that we require everybody else to go through this portal. And if we start changing that, I always believe that the idea, like somebody goes to a USPAP course that we didn't technically get approved and 5 of my colleagues went, all 5 of them have to come in front of us. I do think that's a little crazy. I like Linda's idea that, why don't you get all 5 approved at once? Like she's saying, that let them take the class. Then we could have a list of the people that went there and then approve all those people after the fact. I think that would be at least consistent, and it will
Cleaner.
help not have to do every single, because one of the things is, like I said, we get these, I know for especially the Northeast regional assessors group, 6 of my assessors will take the class and then each one have to ask. I mean, I think it's better if one of the person says, look, these 6 assessors took it, can we have a credit? And we can do it once. But I think they have to go through the portal.
Makes sense to me.
Okay,
It
John,
makes
that's
sense.
the game plan, I think, okay?
Yeah,
John,
so,
if you want to keep doing this, I think one of the 2 suggestions would either have the institute, the chapter sponsor it for you, or when I started out doing this, I just created my own school.
mm,
And then, just any classes, huh?
I don't want to
John
start.
Gavin's school. I like it, John.
Uh,
A new business for you.
I would be too hard knocks. I don't know. So what we're saying is, because we got a lot on the plate today, we're saying is that I can still submit the PowerPoint to Linda for review. And then after I teach the seminar, submit it, the whole thing again to the commission with a list of those who took it and request approval for all the people that took it, including myself. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
That
Yeah.
sounds like the process and procedure for consistency.
All right, so
John,
there's
are you
nothing I
planning
have
on,
to
John,
vote
are
on.
you planning on teaching this to other groups?
I just sense that once I get done with it once, that there might be another group or two that might ask me to do it again.
Okay, so you'd either have to do the same format or get it registered under a school.
I got you. All right, so we don't really have to vote on anything. I just,
No, now
Yeah.
we know the procedure now. Okay,
thank
all
you.
right, great. Very good. Now, the next thing is the Linda Robitaille, the mandatory salesperson broker course you wanted to discuss quickly.
Right. In the past, we haven't approved the mandatory salesperson broker course for appraisal CE. This is a different type of course, though. It's understanding and preventing racial bias in real estate, which is, as you guys all know, a new big thing. And, actually one of the things on the agenda is the AQB changes, and they are rewriting their advisory opinion on this. And there is some federal legislation that I sent you being proposed regarding this. So I had a couple schools inquire before they bothered to submit it to us. Is it something you think we would approve? And I looked at it, and it's a mandatory course for all the salespeople and brokers. It's 3 hours. It's an in-person class. There's not going to be an online version, so they're going to have to take it in person. But we have a lot of people who also have a salesperson and broker license who are always looking to double dip, so to speak, with their CE. So I just don't know if it's something you guys would entertain even reviewing to approve. That's what they want to know before they submit it, if it's even possible.
I'll speak very candidly, being on this commission longer than I want to admit to. This is a slippery slope. And when I see House bills and so forth, let's wait till the legislation is done, then review it, because things get lost in the soup when we think what would be happening on April the 14th, and when it's finally done, could be totally different. Then we review it at that time. I don't want to give anybody any misleading information, because on the concept, it sounds great, but how many times have we seen things, hit a rock and go in an entirely different direction? So that's how I believe we should handle this. Okay, when it's done, law goes through, then let's take a look.
Linda, this is going to be a separate course because fair housing already has that in it.
Right. They're every year they come up with different mandatory courses, and this is a new mandatory course. Last time it was fair housing. This time fair housing isn't a mandatory course, but this one is instead.
Okay.
Am I correct, Jill?
Hello,
She's
Linda. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So your question was, sorry, I was like doing something in the
This is
background.
this is a mandatory. Right. This is a mandatory course
Yes, this course,
versus
the racial bias
and fair
course,
housing.
it's not a fair housing. It's a racial bias course, and it is mandatory for licensing prior to renewal in 2022. So it's actively being administered right now through the real estate schools, and it's only being taught live virtual. And it was something that was produced through the Connecticut Association of Realtors and help me out with this.
CHRO?
CHRO, correct. Yes. So yeah, that's it was put together with those two groups, and we're just overseeing it.
Okay, so do I understand that I'm looking at a hard copy of the discussion draft of the House Rule Bill here, and it doesn't look like it's passed, but we're already teaching a course based on a law that has not been passed?
The Real Estate Commission comes up with two classes every other year that are required prior to licensing. And it just has to do with what's current in the
Okay,
field.
my
So
suggestion
I don't
is
think
that,
we ever get,
Yeah.
I don't think we ever get legislature approval for that. I don't know. I'd have to defer that to somebody else, but the courses go through the education committee. They get talked about, they get written, they get approved, and then they're administered. I don't ever recall it going through a legislature committee. Do you know that,
Okay.
Linda?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. In the legislation Jerry's referring to is federal legislation that the ASC forwarded to us that may affect appraisers in general, so.
Okay.
so why don't we just have the course in question or courses in the normal course of procedures and policies be put on our next agenda. We review them and we can take it from there.
Okay,
That's the
Yep.
way to take care of it. There's a lot of, we're trying to make leaps of faith here, and I'd rather that we can follow the process and procedures like any other course, and then we'll take it from
Okay.
there.
I'll let the schools know.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
Jerry, anybody who's taking that course now, though, can apply to get the credit for the appraisal
On an
institute.
individual
for the
basis,
appraiser
that's
side?
correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And let me just bring something to note here. As you know, I'm licensed in a few states. And the state of Illinois came up with a sexual discrimination class that is mandatory that you have to take. It's a 1-hour class. And I took it, given by the local Chicago chapter in February. Somehow the paperwork from the Illinois chapter and the powers to be at our colleagues at the Illinois Appraisal Commission or board, something slipped up. We all had to go back and retake it again earlier this month. Okay, so although we have federal legislation that says that we
Hey,
cannot
I'm on
approve
the call with the
a
appraisal.
class less than
I'm on
2
the
hours.
Zoom call with the appraisal.
Can we please
commissions.
mute
I may have to hang up
Ms.
on you.
King's, no, thank you. 2-hour minimum. State laws are coming across, and I'm seeing it come across other areas, have 1-hour ones. So just be aware that this is a wave that's going on. And, you know, heck, I don't want to make anyone have to go through a course twice if they didn't have to, if you know what I'm saying. All right. So just be aware that this is what's going on out there. Okay. All right. I'll jump into ASC, proposed federal legislation. Linda, go ahead. I jumped the gun here.
That's okay. As Jerry was saying, I sent you guys all, or Terry Joe sent it all, proposed legislation. The ASC sent it, Jim Park sent it to all the states. And that's the only update I have. He hasn't sent anything further as far as where it is, if anywhere. You know, given the political climate in Washington, I'm not quite sure what will go through and what won't. So it's just an FYI to be aware of that. And then I also sent you a couple of things. There's a new exposure draft to change advisory opinion 16. And that talks about the fair housing.
Yep.
And then there's also the change to the real property appraisal criteria regarding, it's basically changing the terminology and stuff to kind of streamline the live virtual and stuff, because I have a feeling it's here to stay. So they're trying to make it possible without any, you know, orders or approvals from the, you know, on a monthly or yearly basis. So they're just in the works going through them. So it's just something to be aware of.
Okay. Any questions from commission members? None? Okay, thank you. Well, at least they're being proactive and if anything's come out of this whole COVID thing, you know, using the technology to its fullest capabilities, I think is going to be one of the positives that we can talk about here. Okay, the next thing on the ASC is virtual audit schedule for June 7th through 9. You wanted to give us an update?
Jenny sent the questionnaire and a list of spreadsheets. We'll be sending her the beginning of May. It'll be virtual. She'll do an opening meeting with Vicky and myself on the 7th, and then they will attend the 9th meeting virtually, and then we'll do a closing meeting that afternoon. So, you know, hopefully we're thinking it's going to go pretty smoothly.
Okay, good. Any questions, folks? Who is the team coming up? Do we know?
It will be Jenny and Claire.
Claire?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I will say that Linda and I are meeting on a regular basis to go over everything to make sure that we are, you know, prepared. It's going to be a little bit different, you know, this process because it's being done virtually, but I think we should be okay.
Okay.
Will
Great.
they present, will they make a presentation at our June meeting or July
Yeah.
meeting? Or
The June meeting. They'll be at our June meeting.
so will we have a chance to rebuttal anything that they come up with? Like,
Yeah, I mean, they'll send a report after the meeting is over. Hold on. Okay, I was gonna sneeze, but I'm not. Probably in July, and we'll have a chance to ask. They're not gonna formally rate us or anything. It's not as formal or won't be listed as an actual compliance session, so it won't be a formal rating or anything. It'll just be a list of, you know, areas of concern if there are any, and, you know, we'll go from there. And I think they will probably, if depending, will be back in either 2022 or 2023 to do an actual on-site visit.
okay.
Though they may decide they're going to do everything virtually from now on, based on, you know, how things are going in different states when they do it this way without traveling to kind of, you know, less for them to do travel wise. So,
And this may be the wave of the future.
right.
Yes.
You know, this may be, they're going to find that they can save money, it can be worked out. And everything, like I said, we're going to see how technology is working and find what works great and what needs adjusting and what we did under an emergency act, but we're not doing it again. You know, those things do happen. So.
Right.
Well, one of the things that Linda and I did notice in reviewing the sheet that they sent us, they do have some different questions, which I think are sort of geared towards, you know, things being done virtually. So that might be the direction that they're going.
Hey, we're all going to learn together. Okay, we're all learning together. And I think, as we can say, we've done everything we can to try to be, if you remember, we did a conference call a year ago on this month. And then we finally went to, you know, state office. We did virtual, so we've come a long way. All right, good, thank you. Now we jump into new business. I see number 1, Brendan File, RCG applicant log approval and sample selection. John, I see that you went through that last night and sent over to us the samples. Can that be Linda? Okay, you'll forward that off to Mr. File.
I will.
I got a quick question, Jerry. On the hours, was he being conservative on the hours, or are those pretty much realistic, how long it's taking to do his part in some of these?
Conservative, John.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. And for the record, I am his sponsor, so when that comes up, I have nothing to say. And anyone that has been done with the company as you and we were in person, I would walk out of the room. Well, I can't walk out of the room with this when I'm a sponsor, so I'd be on the virtual on the other side of the table. So for next month, if, things are approved here today and he's here, then when that time comes, I know I can't walk around where I'm sitting right now and be on the other side of the table with them, but we'll be doing that virtually as well. But we have to, for the record, is Mr. File on the phone?
No,
He is
no, he
not?
didn't need to be here today.
Okay, I do believe, though, we will need a motion to accept his log in a second, and I will now, while this matter is being gone, Linda Sepso, could you be the chairperson to take care of this, please? So, doing this procedure, so I am not involved.
Okay. No, John, could you do this?
I'll make the motion. I make a
Thank
motion
you.
to
All right.
accept the log and the sample selection as submitted to Linda Robitelli already.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
One abstain.
One
I'm
abstain.
abstained. I'm abstained.
Right, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So then next month he will be on the agenda to do his
Yep,
thing.
to go over his samples.
You guys roast him. Okay. Monica, and I don't want to mispronounce the last name, requesting extension of provisional appraisal license. Linda Robitaille, can you give us the background and could you help me with the
Yeah,
pronunciation?
and she is here, So she was first licensed in 2014. We gave her an extension last year. We've already approved her. She just needs basically to take the exam, and she will need, before she upgrades, a new 15-hour use PAP course because hers is more than 6 years old.
Who is her sponsor or sponsors?
Monica,
Michael
are you there?
McGuire. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sponsored by Michael McGuire.
Okay. Monica, I miss, and how do you pronounce your last name?
Siaka.
Thank you. And Ms. Siaka, what is your place of employment for the record?
Austin McGuire Appraisal Company,
Their business address, please?
64 Wall Street, Norwalk, Connecticut.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So could you give us, the floor is yours, Ms. Siaka. How long are you looking for? What do you need to get done and so forth? If you could tell the commission, please.
Well, I've just taken 2 of the state exams, failed both by 1 point.
Oh.
So, and I have 2 more chances before I, come before the board again for another extension or for approval to take the test again. I am going back to studying everything all over again because after taking the practice exams issued by the Appraisal Institute, I'm still left scratching my head as to what is wrong. During the second time of taking the test, the questions just appear to get exceptionally harder. So that is the reason why I am here before you to ask for an extension.
Which license, Ms. Siaka, are you applying for?
The
Or
general appraiser.
General, okay. And how long are you asking for an extension?
I'm asking for a year.
Okay. So your extension will expire the end of this month, or am I wrong in that assumption?
The current one, yes, will expire at the end of this month.
Okay. Members of the commission, anyone have any questions or discussion? Feel free, the floor is open.
The only thing that I would say, Jerry, is as I understood it, that the what we had done, was that with the Monica Pace person or whoever it was, that things were being done in 6-month increments? I'm not sure. Linda, is that the same situation?
Right, that's what, last month you did, Emily, you did it for 6 months. So I'm just,
I would
mean,
do
each
it in
person you can take
6-month increments.
individually. I'm sorry, what, Vicky?
I would just suggest that it be done in the same manner that was consistent, so we are consistent, that it be done, not to say she can't have a year, but to do it in 6-month increments, to have a report back in 6 months, and then at that time, make the second extension if need be. So that we are consistent on the record in terms of what was done with the other woman last month, Ms. Pace.
Norris, any thoughts, or Shauna, John, or Linda? No?
I'm in line with the
Just
6
say,
months.
didn't we say that she had to?
I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable with the 6 months.
Jerry, didn't we just say that she had to retake a course though? Because it's-
Before she can upgrade, she will need the 15-hour use PAP because it's over 6 years
Okay, I
old.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Well, any other discussion points? Shauna, any thoughts?
Well, I guess because you can take the tests, it's not like you have to wait a year. I don't know why we would go beyond the 6 months anyways.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or comments?
There is something she had put in the chat. Did everybody see her notation in the chat?
I did not.
I can read it.
Okay.
Please do. Or is she, can you ask her to, or
No,
open
I
up
think
the line?
it's from Nora King.
Okay.
Terry Jo, do you want to read it as the host here?
Sure. Nora King to all panelists. I can relate. This test is really unrelatable. Just so you know, it is almost impossible to schedule an exam.
Okay.
I'm
Thank you, Ms.
I'm game for just 6 months, because if she can't get it done in 6 months, and I'm gonna root for her and say she's gonna pass in 6 months, but if she can't get the USPAP class done, the update, then okay, then we do another 6 months or 3 months or whatever it takes to get the USPAP a 15-hour in. I think we should just do 6 months and be consistent with what we've been doing.
Is that a motion, John?
That's my motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Or a second now, we can continue discussion. Any other thoughts or comments? Ms. Siaka, any other, before we vote, would you like to add or subtract or anything?
Yes, I'm just a little confused as to the USPAP 15-hour. Do I need to complete that before the 6 months if you extend it to me?
You will need to complete the 15-hour use PAP before you can upgrade your license to certified.
Okay. Okay.
And the 15 hours can count towards your CE for 2022. So
Right.
you'll also have to take the 7-hour for CE, but the 15 can count for your CE in addition to the requirement to upgrade.
Okie
By the
dokie.
time you add the Connecticut law, you will have taken more USPAP and law than you ever thought, you know? Okay.
That's for sure.
Any other comments, Ms. Siaka?
No.
Okay. Any other comments or thoughts from the commission members? Hearing none, then I will call the vote. Ayes,
Aye.
Aye.
nays, extensions, 6-month extension for Ms. Siaka has been granted. That will make it, we go to October. Am I correct with that, with our calendar?
Yes.
Yeah, to the end of October.
Okay, good luck. Okay, we are rooting for you. Okay.
Thank you.
And if anyone has any suggestions to help her with another review arena or class or course, please, we will try to forward that on to you, but good luck, okay? All
Thank
right, then.
you.
Moving on to number 3, Charles, I guess Brody requesting extension of provisional appraisal license. And it says and it stops. So let me, is Mr. Brody on?
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you give us let me start with, can I get your place of business and business address, please?
Sure. I work for Nora King and Company, and it's 17 Covewood Road, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06853.
And I see Miss King is on the line as well. Welcome, Nora.
Welcome.
Okay. All right, Linda Robitaille, can you please give a quick overview for the commission members?
Yeah, so his license will, he got his first license in October of 2015, so it will expire this October, will be his 6 years. And I understand he's pretty well along in the process. He just needs to, you need to complete a few more courses, correct?
Courses are all done. Hours are done.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt, Linda. Courses are done. Hours are done. I just need to sit down and get focused on the studying for the exam. A lot of things happened over COVID from my family. I kind of got trapped in Florida for 6 months, and I'm taking care of my in-laws down here right now. So I'm going back and forth to Connecticut, and I just need to sit down and get some course studying done for the exam.
All right, you haven't submitted your stuff to upgrade yet to us.
No, I'm going to. Yes, I got my work computers up north, so I'm going to go up there and submit everything.
Okay,
And all this,
Okay.
all the 125 hours are done.
the college is done?
College is a long time ago.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
No worries. And I'm just
So-
looking for 6, just to expire, I guess, a year from now. So another 6 months.
I think, can you guys hear me? This is Nora.
Yes.
I think just with Charlie, he has a lot going on in Florida right now with his in-laws. And he had some issues with his brother's wife that just passed away. And it's just been really hard for him to get back to Connecticut. And I think I just think the summer's going to be a little bit more of the same. So I feel like he's been in a tough situation the past like 9 months, as many of us have been with COVID. And I just feel like the added stress of having to do a prep course and study for the exam and everything, I think it would be better if he could focus on that when he gets through some of this down in Florida with his family. He is an exceptional appraiser, just so everybody knows. He's done like all his courses. He has more than enough hours, and he's totally, I think he just needs like, a good cram course and set up and take the test.
Okay, thank you. You probably mentioned it, so I missed it. So it's my bad, no one else's. Your license, comes to an end at the end of this month, or when is the
End of
is
October.
end of October?
Yes, sir.
So you're asking from an extension from October of 2021, beyond that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, to April 2022. This is so additional 6 months past the maturity date.
Okay, thank you. You cleared that up for me. Members of the commission, any comments, thoughts, questions?
What has the commission done in the past? This is the first time I think I recall anybody coming,
Before they're up.
really being proactive on here,
Yeah.
which I commend you doing and
Thank
given
you.
everything you have, but have we done this before, Linda?
We've had people come, especially when the 6 years was first implemented, come in April to go forward. And, basically you just really need to be consistent with, you can take each case individually, but all cases that are the same need to be handled the same. So you know, it's up to you. It doesn't expire to October. If he doesn't, you know, it sounds like he doesn't think he's going to be able to get everything together based on, you know, his family situation and what's going on right now, and come before you and take the exam in the next 6 months. Because you have to remember, we also don't meet in August, so.
So Charles, will you be getting us your samples?
Yes, I'm heading back north on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's where all my stuff is on my work computer up there.
So we'll be getting, your log has already been approved, correct, Linda?
No.
No, he hasn't submitted his application yet to us.
Okay, so you're anticipating, is what I'm getting at, submitting your log.
Oh, yes, sir.
For our next month.
Yes.
In which
Oh, yes.
case that'll bring us up through May, and then you can submit your work in June for review. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Pending what goes on in your personal life.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So really, he's looking to go from adding another 6 months from October to this time next year, the end of April 30th, for round numbers.
Correct.
To line up with all the licensing dates and requirements and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. Linda Sepso, Shauna, Norris, comments, thoughts, questions?
You know, I think normally I would say, well, in October or September, you can ask for the extension because you'll have used up the time. But I get that this could be difficult for him. He's not really sure where he's going to be in October with the family situation. So I guess in this case, I'm okay with adding on the 6 months.
Can I throw a suggestion in here? Wouldn't it be wiser, more consistent with what historically done? I sympathize with Charles's situation, but if he just keep doing the best he can until October, and since we've had this discussion now that in October, if he still needs a 6-month extension, that, you know, does he have to show up for the commission? Can he just email Linda? And and at that point, we just, since we know what's going on, at that point, we can just give him the 6-month extension if he needs it. Because if he's a good appraiser, which Nora King, and I trust Nora King, he should really not have that much, he should not have a problem with the comp, we would anticipate. I mean, we're hoping with the test.
I asked Vicky to chime in, please, on the legal side on that, on John's question.
You know me, I'm all about consistency.
Yep.
My thought is this is the year of our audit. We know it's coming. I would say let's just do it in 6-month increments. I think everybody is already of the mindset that it wouldn't be a problem for it to be extended, but I think we just take one step at a time. On paper, it'll look as though we're consistent in what we did with other people, which was 6 months. It's not to say that the extension would not be given for a year, because it probably would. It's just 6 months. Just say, hi, you know, I need the extension. He doesn't necessarily have to come back because he's already, you know, put his case forward. His sponsor, Ms. King, is here, or she can, you know, make the request for him if need be, if he's not able to, and that's it. I just think we want our paperwork to look right, and we want our process to be consistent. So it's not to say it wouldn't be granted, because I think it would be. I just think that we are doing everything in 6-month increments.
So it's okay if we approve 6 months and he needs 6 months more, it's okay for Nora King to just submit the request on behalf of Charles. Charles doesn't have to be here if his life's got.
Correct. He doesn't have to come back because, you know, we've already been told what the situation is. We will be updated at the time that the request would need to be made. So that's my thought. And it's not to be insensitive, because that's, believe me, I don't want to get into all my stuff that went on, but we're not being insensitive. It's just that we're trying to be consistent in what our process has been.
Okay.
All right, can I make a motion, Jerry, and then we have any
the floor is open, John.
But-
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we grant Charles Broad a 6-month extension from his October 6-year.
Excuse me, do we have to make an extension? Or I thought we were gonna wait till October.
Well, he's making a motion, you know, Norris, and then we will go to that discussion. So is there a second to John's motion? Not hearing one. Okay. Norris, go ahead with your question.
I was just wondering if he's coming back in October, if he comes back in October, then we just do it in October for him.
Or September.
Or September, October, either one. I didn't have a problem with what Vicky said, and I have a problem with what John said. If you want to do it, whatever his issue is, I feel more comfortable doing it, whether it's September or October. He doesn't have to be there. Just send us, like I said, send Linda an email.
So can
I feel comfortable
summarize?
doing it I feel much more comfortable doing it that way.
Okay, so I'm going to try to summarize what I've been hearing here is that we sympathize and understand Mr. Brody's circumstance. And Ms. King also, you know, verifying this. But so under the spirit of consistency by our auditors and so forth, that we are in favor of looking at giving him an extension. He should know that, she should know that, but to do that formally with a request like in September for another 6 months if needed. Does that capsulize everybody's thoughts? Am I getting that correct?
I think so, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Brody, you've heard what people have had to say here. We are in your corner. We can't say thank you. Someone, I think it was John or it might have been Linda or Sean or Norris, said that, you know, we appreciate you being very proactive. That goes a long way. Again, we thank you very much. We wish you everything, smoother road. How's that being polite? Okay, smoother road ahead here. And if come September, and I would suggest doing it in September, don't wait till October. September, get on there. If you think you're going to need another 6 months, please, you know, let's go through that and then we'll do what we can to help you out. Okay, does that help? Does that at least?
My understanding is Nora could send, or I can send an email to Linda and I don't have to be on the call. Is that what I understand is going to happen?
That is correct.
That seems fair. I mean, fine.
Okay, so put it on your tickler file or Nor's or whomever, you know, after Labor Day, you know, hey, I gotta, let me get on the agenda, you know, and I'm just one who, because of unforeseen circumstances, you know, that we don't have a meeting. I'd rather that instead of waiting for October and you get caught onto things here.
That's why I did it now. And that's why I was trying to be proactive. And I didn't know that, you know, that this is how it works. And I thought I'd be proactive and get the ball rolling. I might not need the time. I don't know, but I'm just trying to, like I learned in life, it's always best to have an insurance policy. And I don't want to be coming to you guys in October prior to doing this meeting, you know, looking for an extension.
Appreciate it. Okay. And again, talking for everybody from the staff and members of the commission, we hope things get a little bit smoother for you.
They can't get worse. So that's so good. Thank you very much. I totally appreciate it.
All right. Thank you then. Be
you.
well.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Okay. Number 4, AQB proposed changes. Linda, did you already go through these?
Yeah, I did with, under the ASC.
Very good. I just want to make sure because there might have been other ones, okay, that, you know, I did not see. Okay. That is for the new business. Now I'm going to the old business. And we got para here. Well, that's number 1. Go ahead. Linda, did you want to give us the update or overview?
I have no update on it. I haven't received any additional information from ASC or AQB on this going for, you know, it is approved by the AQB to do. So, you know, but I don't have any new information.
Okay. Any members of the commission have a question on the matter? No? Okay. When we move forward, we go through that. Then it's the use path extension and go ahead, Linda.
It sounds like you know more than I do. My understanding is they plan on coming out with a new course in October for next year to teach from the same USPAP book, but that's all I know.
Yeah. Again, I didn't mean
There's
to
something
jump in.
about, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, Lee.
there
Go ahead.
was something about an addenda being sent to us. But I mean, I don't know when they're gonna get that to us. I haven't seen anything at all.
You know what I had to say in the beginning of the meeting, you
Yeah.
know, and they're all trying to, they're
Yeah.
having their uh-oh moment. And I understand because it's a little different here and how, we seem to be very amenable and flexible of where we can be to still fit within the fairway and within the spirit and the rules of the law. But other of our colleagues around the country are, as some would say, extraordinarily more rigid. So I think I don't remember the last time I'm looking more forward to an audit, because this is a topic that these folks will be, coming up from Washington virtually, I understand. But by Lord, that gives us, it's 60 days from now. They've got to have fleshed out things. We'll understand where they're coming from. And more importantly, I think they may give us some guidance to make sure we don't go afoul on something on this, and also the appraisers and the students out there, because we're all, in the same boat, except Nora's having to go take this class and understanding, I think it was Jackie who brought up this, right out of the box. Well, what does that do now for the schools come January of 2020, in the next year? Is it a double hit or not? And so again, these are the details that I trust they're trying to flesh out and come up with answers. And but we'll take it from there. Anybody else? Anything add? And Linda, so you may know more because on the teaching side, they may have reached out to you on things.
We haven't heard anything yet
Okay.
at all. And I just, just that they're talking about there being like an addenda package to it, but that they're not planning on putting out a new book now, which is really amazing. I thought that was how they made their money.
Yeah.
So, and even the Perea thing, they're still not putting out too much about that.
Okay.
Except it looks like every school has to do their own course with this using a guideline, but there's not a lot of direction on any of it.
Okay. Here's my next thing. It's on here, but I'm going to segue just to tie in a little bit so we're all on the thinking, because I don't know if Shauna was here for that first discussion. I want to make sure she is up to speed. And any comments? Mary Jo, you sent us that email this morning at 7:10, or that's when I received it here. So we need to make sure we all have this clarified here. Under the state, is this a fact? This is what, or this is being proposed, Linda Robitaille, as you know it, with the CE, when it's due and so forth. Is it in fact in place, or is this proposed? Where is this at?
All right, it's part of the DCP technical bill, and what it says is for any license, whether it's appraiser or electrician or plumber or whatever it is, their CE will need to be completed and submitted 3 months prior to renewal of their license. So for appraiser CE will have to be done going forward by the end of January of the even year to get their license in April of that year. The thinking is it will save the state, the department time with doing full audits, because if you don't have your CE in your file, you're not going to get issued a renewal notice. It's going to be that simple. So right now it is part of the technical bill and proposed. It made it out of committee, the technical bill, and then is scheduled for the House. And we sent you guys the link so you know which, for what bill was, if you were interested in following it. So And the other thing is they're going to, if you guys notice on your licenses, there's a $16 increase on the even years. They're going to divide that, so both years will be the same, and it'll be an $8 increase instead of the 16 on each. It's not going to go up $8. They're going to take that 16 and divide it into each year. So it'll be the same fee.
So let me just go down this road so to make it clarity. Today is April the 14th. This bill, if it gets through committee and gets signed into, become law, for lack of a better phrase here, say that's July 1, okay? I'm just picking a date, okay? That means we would have to let the schools as well as all our licensees know that, hey, folks, you have 7 months to get everything in with your CE. You don't have until April 30th of 2022. You have until January 31st of 2022. Am I understanding that correctly?
Depending on when it goes into effect, depending on what the legislation says, it may be that, or it may be the CE that's due in 2024. I
Okay.
don't know that yet.
Okay, so,
I mean,
all right.
'cause to me, having it for this coming CE cycle would be very difficult.
Oh,
You
without
know, it may
question.
be fine for somebody who license doesn't expire until next November with CE. So, but for us, it might be, and the others, it might be difficult. So I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see where this goes. Norris, you have any thoughts?
No, the only thing is usually they do it either July 1st or October, but you just got to read the bill. And the bill, it'll say it in the bill.
Right, when it
I'm
takes
sure
effect.
Vicky, you can go back and look at the bill and it'll say when the effective date is. But usually it's July or October when they usually do an
Okay,
effective date on
sometimes
anything.
for us sometimes with us with the technical bill is effective upon passage. So I will take a look at that to make sure.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I wanted to say,
Yeah, so
I'm
but
sorry,
I just
the
want to
other
make
thing that I
sure
wanted
you're aware of it.
The other thing I wanted to say is I'm getting chats. I think they're from Nora. I'm not sure if other people have gotten
Yep.
it. Terry Jo, do you see the chat?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Some of them are asking questions, that's why.
Well, from Nora, she said, I sort of worry about the stress. So I didn't think I didn't think the commission needed to hear that. And then from Jackie, she put, when would this be effective?
We really don't know that yet, though, right?
Right. I have to go back and look at the bill to see when it
Yeah.
says.
And what is it? What's it on the house calendar?
Yeah, it's on the house calendar.
Yeah, I'll call over there just to see what's going to happen over there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll call just to, I'll send you a text just to see how it's going to go over there. Because like I
Okay,
said,
thanks.
they're the Senate's going in today, but, and I talked to a friend of mine who runs the Senate clerk's office, and I asked, how's it going? How are they doing everything? And it seems like they're going smoothly, but remember, remember the House is in one day. The House and the Senate, they will never let in on both days. The House goes in one day, then the Senate will go in. They don't want that many people in the building over there. So it's really good. I mean, and they're pretty much happy because guess what? Most of the legislators, they don't have to deal with lobbyists. So it's either Zoom or a telephone call. So whatever's going, if you say that bill is on the House calendar, my bet is it's going to happen. It'll probably, I would bet if it's a technical bill, it'll probably be a consent bill or something, and it'll be a consent on the Senate too.
Okay, Norris, from your experience, when will we really have to address this? Is this something in June?
Probably, for me, if it's to them, it's just a technical, it'll be minor for them. So they may just wait till, I think the session ends June 9th. So they might just wait till the end and just do it as a consent calendar, especially the Senate. They'll do like, for instance, on the last day, they may do 70 bills in one day, and that could be one of the bills.
Okay. So it's
It's not something to, if it's one, like I said, it's a technical revision. So it's not their priority. You want to know what their priority supposedly in the House today is? They're going to do gambling supposedly and marijuana. They want to do gambling this week and marijuana next week.
Okay.
They want to get
Yeah,
the
those
big
are their
stuff
two
done.
priorities.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to
Okay.
get the DCPs, the gambling and the marijuana done this week and next week. So so think about it, the next 2 weeks, then the focus will be on all the other stuff.
Okay.
Because
Well,
the session, like I
here's,
said, the session.
no, go ahead.
The session doesn't end June 9th till June 9th, so they got plenty of time to do that.
Well,
Right.
so it's one of those things that we'll just thank you, Linda, for bringing it to all our attention. It's and we'll look at June just to give everyone a moment so they don't go run around with their hair on fire. This is very similar to other states who have that 90-day window or 3 months. California, believe it or not, is 4 months ahead. So my license expires on, I think it's a June. I have to have everything done in January. So this isn't an abnormal situation, how it goes around the country. It's just one of those, it's becoming more and more common. So just to let you know.
Jerry, do you have a person who just figures out what state you're supposed to be and taking continuing ed all the time?
I get a little bit of help. Yes, I do, but that usually, as I've always said, I spend one Saturday morning a month minimum of just trying to keep up on these type of things. Where are we?
There,
I'm
we need
always
to go. Yeah.
60 days out. Where am I 60 days? Try to get everything in 60 days ahead of time, because waiting for glitches or what have you. And it's happening a lot. For whatever reason, Pennsylvania has decided not to accept 2 classes because they are very stickler. If they give an extension, and I'll just use that up to example here, to March 31st, and I happen to take it on, and they don't clear it off their website, and I take the class on April 2nd, and they don't renew it until their April meeting, you fall in that 2-week or 3-week window, that class now does not count. And therefore you've got to go back and redone it. Now I've been caught on that more than once, so, and I'm dealing with that and I'm just using that as an example. Pennsylvania, it has just occurred again, because for whatever reason, it slipped through the cracks. They didn't extend it, and hey, that it is what it is. So anyway.
That's nuts.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Linda and Norris and Vicky and everybody for bringing us current, because this could be quite a situation for us. The last thing on here, I show old business.
I think there's a question, Jerry. Go ahead, Terry Jo.
Correct. Jackie is asking, she says it's critical that we know a date as a school, but also for those licensed. And she also said, does the commission plan on keeping mandatory law 4 hours for 2022 renewal?
That's really something we need to talk about.
Well,
Having talked-
Jackie, let me answer the first one, which we just have done it twice. We don't know when it's going to go into effect. And we're well aware that schools have got to know the effective date as well as the licensees. So we're in the same boat. This is not even 2.5 hours old that we know as a commission. So, when we know, you'll know, that's for sure. And we don't think we're going to know until June. So you've been hearing the discussion that, as Nora said, heck, they could make it effective immediately. It could be, as Linda said, it could be in 2024. We don't know yet. So as soon as we know, we understand, we got to let everyone know. The second one, go ahead, Linda, you were going to say.
Yeah, after having taught the 4-hour class, I think we should put it back to a 3-hour class and take the provisional and supervisory out of it, because almost every single class, very few people are interested in helping new people become appraisers. And now with this PREA program that's going on, that's going to help people become appraisers without having a supervisor, I think it'll be even less. But most people wanted nothing. You could see them shut down. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to talk about it. It wasn't helping to get them interested in doing it. Most people, if they have a provisional, it's their son or their brother-in-law or somebody like that. It's not that they're bringing, a lot more people into it. So, and you could see them that you really kind of started to lose any interest in the class. And the class is tough enough to teach because it's, it's pretty much the same thing every year. So I think we probably need to take that out, make it a 3-hour class, and do something separate for anybody who's interested in having a provisional. I mean, at this point, a 1-hour Zoom meeting could probably do everything that's needed with anybody who's interested in it.
Let me ask you this question. What keeps us from enveloping that material within the 3-hour law class? Just what you're saying, we keep going over the same stuff, so we could do it, go from 4 to 3, but also include that in there. It's a
I
food
don't know.
thought.
Vicky, do you think that we could get, because there's enough, I mean, especially now with all these different things that are happening, there's going to be enough with the law class.
I mean, when I was teaching the law and what have you, I always thought that we could, when under the old 3, I thought you could do it in an hour, an hour and a half,
We did. The original one had the some stuff about supervisory and provisional in it. We just added that and had, a full hour almost on that. But that just got more grumbling because most people just are not interested in it.
I think this is something that we need to talk about a little more detail than just now. And I'm wondering if we should put it on the agenda for May or June when we have less items to discuss.
Yeah.
And then we can work on it over the summer so that by September, we revise the course, whether we go at 4 hours, 3 hours, with more condensed thing like Jerry suggested or something like that.
I spent a little more time on the PREA stuff. I definitely have to spend a lot more on it, but they're talking about, you don't have a supervisor, but you have a mentor that you can call and talk to and you just take this course, virtual course. So that even puts it, and it's done by the school. So McKissick would have to say, we've got this course and you can take it. And any of the other schools would have to do the same thing. They'd have to, the Appraisal Institute, they'd have to get it all approved. And you would take that course instead of working with a supervisory appraiser.
Yeah, but we're still going to have to decide because we have regulations in our state, right, Vicki? So we may have to do some revisions, but we don't know how this para thing is going to pan out yet. So,
I
agree with you.
I was a little bit concerned. I thought the foundation was going to be running it, but no, they're giving it out to the schools and the schools have to develop their version of the program and supply mentors to anybody taking the class so that there's someone that's an experienced appraiser that they can talk to.
Okay.
So I mean, it's different than we thought it was going to be, but I don't know that they'd even would consider a 2-hour class being equivalent to this new format that they're putting forth, and that might be the mandatory class that they have to take, and our 2-hour class doesn't fit into anything anymore. So I know it's really screwed up right now because they're not. I mean, I was shocked when I heard that the schools had to develop their own course using that material. They had to develop their own course and supply mentors.
Okay, I agree with John's thoughts here. Let's put it on. Let's at least discuss it again in May. Okay, this not to make a.
I'll try and get some more information on it too.
Okay, because there's a lot of moving parts here.
And Linda, as part of that discussion, can you send us out the most recent law module so we all can review that before we have the discussion?
Yep.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. getting on, I have Jonathan Kloss, RCG applicant review of sample report. So is Mr. Kloss available? Is he on?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, thank you. You've found quite an education for the last hour and 15 minutes, right? More minutia than you want to know, but then there was a little nugget here. Hey, maybe we have to have our CE done earlier. So
Right.
You're learning like we did today.
Yes.
We just happen to only know maybe about an hour and 20 minutes ahead of you when we, when it came to our attention. So welcome again.
Okay.
For the record, can you give your full name and your business address?
Yes, Jonathan Kloss, and my business address is 175 Bronson Drive, Middlebury, Connecticut.
All right then. Great. You welcome back again. And again, as we said last month, thank you for your service. And we have I see that I received a report from Linda Robitaille on a
Yes.
property at 170 Grandview Avenue in Waterbury.
Correct.
This is, so just to refresh my memory, this is because we asked for some additional work or additional sample or to augment work to bring up to snuff. Am I correct? Or
Yes, you had asked me to expand on a number of sections of the appraisal, which I did. You had asked me to include additional approaches to value, which I did.
okay.
So yeah, you're correct.
All right then. I don't want, as you know, I only vote in terms of ties, as I said to you before, but I can still ask questions. But I
Sure.
don't want to hog up everything here, so I'll let, if any questions are from other commission members.
This is John. I talked to Jonathan at length. We went over his report, the second report that he submitted, and I asked him questions about different things we discussed about the communication process. And in my opinion, I think he understands, what he needs to do going forward. And so I'm fine with it. I did discuss the highest and best use and how in his report, he just stated the highest and best use, which is something we do in a restricted use report under use PAP, and he understands that now. So Jonathan, if you just want to take a minute, maybe I just quickly to tell the commission quickly, if you had to rewrite that section on highest and best use, what you would consider in doing the highest and best use of this particular property that you submitted as a sample, just real quickly.
Real quickly, I would just add more detail to the section. I would explain my thought process in, coming to that the highest and best use is the continued medical office use. I would discuss the interior layout, which is in keeping with the medical office, and how that would need to be changed for a different use. I would discuss how the location of the subject is adjacent to Waterbury Hospital, how it is surrounded by other medical office buildings. And I would just explain all that in greater detail.
Thank you.
Jonathan, this is Jerry Rasmussen again. Could you just point out to me?
Jerry, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was reaching over here for the report. Can you point out in your report where you stated the highest and best use? Because I missed it. That's my bad.
Give me 1 second to find it.
Certainly.
It is on page 19 in the bottom paragraph or two sentences.
There it is. I missed it. Okay, thank you. Okay. My only, just for going down the road.
Yes.
When you look at something here, if you go to your page 4.
Yes.
You will note that we have a cost approach of $1,094,000. you have a sales comparison approach 985, an income of 1,043,000, and you conclude on the sales at 985. If you
Yes.
have a cost larger than your final value, that will
Yes.
bring up a highest best use question, as if, you know, vacant or improved. Those are the areas when those occur, those issues occur, and they will in your career, you're going to be expected to have 2, 3, 4 more sentences to explain, you know,
Sure.
because
Okay.
why would someone build it, spend that much money if it's worth less under the highest and best use? So just be aware of that, okay?
Yeah, I understand.
The second point I'm going to point out here, if you look on page 4, you have 205,000 for your land value. If you
Yes.
go over to your report, and I'm trying to,
Jerry, we lost you again.
I'm leaning over, thank you, to the report. I'm coming back to it here. On page 22, you were at 2051, you say 205,000, okay, on 22, page 22.
Yes.
And then I may be wrong here, in your cost, on page 27, you ended contributory value of the site, or excuse me, of the raw land was 200,000. So there was a little inconsistency here. You have a
Yes,
typo.
there is.
So you just
Yes,
got to
there
make
is. I
sure.
apologize.
No, nothing to apologize. Make sure you're consistent all the way through.
Right, clearly.
Okay?
All right.
I have nothing more. I'm sorry. I just wanted to point out those two things, more of an
No, thank you.
educational matter than anything else. All right. Any other questions by folks? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we accept Jonathan Claus's samples.
Okay, motion by John. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Norris. Any other discussion, questions, or comments? Hearing none, calling the motion to vote. Ayes.
Aye.
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 I see a hand from Shauna, and nays. Of course, I don't vote. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Now, I'm not going to try to pretend to tell you what the next processes are, because that's where Linda knows that inside and out.
Right.
So I'll let the two of you can chat and where you're at, and she can point you in the correct direction.
All right, thank you.
Nothing but the best in your career.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. Now moving on to the agenda. Are there any other matters that need to come before us that are not on the agenda that should be added?
I have two items quickly.
Okay.
One is the Steve Frey. I got an email from Mr. the Freys, and I forwarded that to you guys. I think I did. But anyway, let me just find it here. So the when we voted on the Freys last month, I had thought that we had agreed that the only thing they had to do was take the use PAP subject. He was approved, subject to completion of the 15-hour use PAP and the 3-hour law module. Linda sent him an email that says, since your license has been inactive since 2017, you will need to complete a total of 56 hours of continuing education. 28 hours are due in 2010, 28 hours are due in 2020. This needs to include 7 hours use PAP and 4 hours Connecticut law module with supervisor provisional education. Any pre-license courses you take will count towards your elective. Please note that any pre-licensing courses over 15 hours is given 18 hours of CE credit. In addition, your 15-hour use PAP expires this year, so you will need a new use PAP prior to upgrading the certified to certified. This contradicts what we voted on last month. So they need a clarification of what to do.
Okay, John and or Linda, can you help me? I'm going through our minutes that we voted on in the beginning of this report or this session.
Yeah, I don't think it was last month.
Oh,
I think it was.
It was for our February meeting. And I can share
Okay.
the screen if, or February 10th meeting, I can share the screen if you like.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
that'd be great.
if you
No
could.
problem. We'll do right now.
Thank you.
One second, bring it up, please. Please let me know if you're able to see it in now.
Yes.
Will you, and you can see it there under new business for number 2. That is where Mr. Free decision was.
Okay, so we have motion to approve Mr. Fay Jr. to reinstate his existing license, waiving the fees. And I'm reading this because I know, Norris, you don't have it on your screen. Okay, so it was under
No.
new business in the February meeting, and it says motion to approve Stephen Fray Jr. request to reinstate his existing license, waiving the fees due to his military service, made by Commissioner Galvin, second by Commissioner Barone. Motion passed unanimously. The next paragraph says, motion to extend time length for Stephen Fray Jr. to 4 years, correlation with his time in the Navy, made by Commissioner Galvin, second by Commissioner Barone. Motion passed unanimously. Are there anything else? That's the only things noted in the minutes of February on this, on Mr. Fray? That's all I see.
Correct.
And
That
it's
was the
my
only note.
understanding that by extending him the 4 years, that his coursework would still count because we're extending him out 4 years.
Right, we're extending, instead of 6 years, we're giving him enough, because he was gone for 4 of those 6 years, we're giving him 4. But, I mean, we can waive the fee, we can let him reinstate his existing license. However, the ASC says if you're reinstating an existing license, you have to do all the CE. It's the same as somebody who does a retirement license in Connecticut. They come back 4 years later, they have to show all the CE that was due during that period of time. That's a federal requirement. There's no way around it.
Okay, so we had a discussion on this at length, and I'm not comparing him to, I think it's wrong to compare him to someone who retired. Somebody who retired and comes back made a decision. This gentleman made a decision to take 4 years off to serve his country, serve our country, okay? And I'm a little adamant about this, that I think that I want it on the record that it was what's the word I want, Terry Jo? Understanding that we were extending him 4 years so that he did not have to retake all the educational credits. And in my opinion, that is punishing him for serving our country. And I think that's wrong. That's why I was adamant. That's why I brought it up. And that's why I thought we voted on extending him 4 years so he would be able to, would not have to take all this continuing education.
Right, well, my understanding, and maybe I misunderstood what you were trying to do with him, was he didn't have to take the original pre-licensing courses, the basic appraisal principles, basic appraisal procedures, because they were more than 5 years old, which is the federal requirement that they're within 5 years. But as far as the CE, even for a service member, there's no waiver of it. I mean, that's federal, so there's no way around it.
Linda, can we?
Unfortunately.
Linda, this is Jerry. Can we reach out to, and to be proactive, and or Vicky here? We have, I'm having a senior moment, folks. We have who's coming up to visit us in June?
Reach out to Jenny.
Jenny.
I thought this was given to Jenny.
Yeah, let me look and see if I can find her, what she said to me. Let me
see
if I can find anything.
Jenny, I think that was one of the concerns that we had, is that we were consistent and that we understood how it is that it would be interpreted, so this wouldn't provide problems for us. And Linda did provide an email to Jenny, so.
Can we just re-verify it? That's all that I'm asking. You know, reach out to Jenny.
Yeah.
or her colleague, I don't care who, then, you know, and because by God, I understand where John's coming from here. And this can't be the first time this question has been asked throughout the country. You know what I mean? It may be the first for us in quite some time, if ever, but you would think there's going to be some reasonable accommodations. That's all I'm saying. You know, John, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think that's where you're coming from.
Yep, that's right. I just think this is just punishing him for serving 4 years, and I just think it's the disgrace.
I have a question though.
Even if ABQ or whatever the heck they're saying, somebody down there has got to be, and I do, Linda, if you want me on that conversation to talk to them, I have no objection in doing that, because I please make it clear that this person served 4 years and they should not be punished for serving 4 years.
I have a question though. Are we talking about CE?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His regular cycle, I don't have a problem with, but we don't, you know, for the
So what are we asking him to do? Because I would expect at the very minimum, anybody coming in after a gap would have to take the law module. How would they know what changed?
He knows he's got to take the law module, but you know, going back and having to take 28 hours for 2018 and 28 hours for 2020 while I was on active duty, I think is just inappropriate. I think he's got to take the 28 hours for this next cycle. Yes, but that we all have to, now that he's coming back next month and going to be actively, you know, working under his father's supervision again.
John, I would suggest that you and Linda get on the phone together and with Jenny and or whomever, you know, it is down there. And you can state your case. You can hear what, where, how. That's, I think that's the only way to fairly resolve it. You know, it's not Linda's rule, you know, coming up here, and let's just go for it. And then following up where Vicky's coming from, we're trying very hard to be consistent and so forth and keep it, I'm not a golfer, but keep it in the fairway of the rules and interpretation. And, you know, I hear you. It's what I'm trying to say. The only way to do it is communicate, you know what I mean? We make the call and state our point or state your position, and let's see. That's all I think, because
Yeah, it's listed right in the AQB criteria regarding military individividuals, and it says right in it that they have to complete it.
What do
So
they
John,
have to say?
I can send this to you. I'll send you what it says, and you can see if you're interpreting it the same way I am.
All right, send it to me, and I still want to have that conversation, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It can't hurt. Okay, it can't hurt, because all right, we haven't dealt with this before, or not to my recollection. Let me put it that way. But
Right, and that's why I had originally sent an email to Jenny, because I had never dealt with it.
yeah,
Because if the AQB has something that's really, I'm sorry to cut you off, Jerry, has something like this, then maybe, I'm just throwing this out there right now, that maybe as a commission, if you guys all agree that maybe we have to stand up to this and make it known and vote otherwise, and then when they slap us, we stand up to that too and throw it back at them and ask them to reconsider that. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. Hopefully we don't have to go down that road. But in the meantime, send me the AQB statement, and then if we can schedule a conference call with the appropriate person, and then discuss it further, and then maybe bring it up again next month.
Okay.
well,
Sounds
let's put it
good.
on our, Sergio, can you please make sure it's on our agenda for next month? Thank you. Don, you said there were two things that you wanted to.
Yeah, the second thing, thank you for catching that. The second thing was, I got an email from Al Frankie, that he got solicited, and he said this has been going around, and I don't know what happened. I did with it. Here it is. One of the brokerage firms, Colliers International, has been soliciting brokers to do commercial BPOs, drive-bys as appraisals. It came up, they're just looking for fees and people to do this. These are not in pursuit of a listing. These are just to provide value so that their clients can make decisions. They're sending them to everybody across the country, but in our state, that's just not appropriate. You can only do a BPO in pursuit of a listing. So I'm going to make the suggestion that I don't know what we've done in the past with this. And it could be obviously a mistake, that we give them the benefit of the doubt. And is it something we could just send them a letter to Colliers International's chief appraiser, or whoever's in charge here? It could even be the person that this came from, explaining what our state law is. Do we have something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I can do that. I did see your email on this. I had a couple of questions because it sounds like Colliers is acting as a middleman between a lender and the agent doing the BPO, which is acting as an appraisal management company, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they don't have a license for that either. So there's a couple issues with them. So I do have your email, and I will, take a look at it and, send them a letter saying, BPOs are illegal, acting as an appraisal management company without a license is illegal. So, and we can take it from there and see what I get for a response.
If you remember, can you send us a copy of that when you do that, just so we could, I could just have that, just, in case somebody asks me again. Thank you.
Hey, Linda, that would just be a legal matter. Wouldn't that be Vicky's purview? Hey, Vic. Am I correct?
Generally what happens is Linda does any initial correspondence with anybody asking for additional information. If they say, yes, we agree, or we don't agree, and if this, if it comes from somebody that requires a legal response, then I will respond. But Linda does all the initial investigations.
Okay. All right.
I only do it if there's a problem, if they don't agree with what Linda says.
How could
I
they
do the
not?
enforcement. I do the enforcement part of it.
You're the hitter.
Thank you. That's all I have, Jerry.
Okay, fine. Is there anything else to come before us? Okay, I would like to just make a quick comment. If I've gotten more used to our virtual meetings, we're getting more efficient. We're covering a lot of things. And most importantly, we're getting a lot of participation from, and I'm going to use the word appraisal community, which is always good, because we've always been we try very hard to be transparent and fair and equitable and consistent and all those things. And I wanted to just, Jackie, I see you're still out there. So thank you for your comments. Thank you for asking questions. That's all good. And there are topics that we are looking at. And Jill Conklin, we thank you for bringing things before us and being bored to death on a Wednesday in mid-April, and they say, my God, they go through this every month. But, we do from time to time come across some hot nuggets, and we got a couple of them here. And we all got surprised by Terry Joe's email at 10 after 7 this morning. I know I was, but you know what? We're trying to be on top of it here, and I've grown accustomed to it. But I do look forward to the day that we all sit all back up in Hartford and we can see face to face and see that we're going. And so thanks for everyone's participation. If there are no other issues before us, then I'll ask for a motion to end the meeting. No one wants to make it because you want to keep going. Okay.
I make a motion to end the meeting.
I'll second it.
We got a second by Linda. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes. Extensions. Thank you all, Terry Joe. Well, I mean, you're right on top of it.